Welcome, everybody, to the Friday edition of the Huddle Hub Podcast. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here, as always, on the weekend show with the man with the best beard in the business, my co-host, normally every Sunday. Cam, how you doing on this Football Friday?
It has been a wild week. Preparing for this storm that's probably not going to be very fun this weekend. I honestly completely forgot about this show until you said something. So I'm glad you said something because it's just been chaotic, and it's sometimes things in my brain I forget about. So, but I'm here, man. I'm surviving and thriving. So I'm ready here to talk about some football for sure.
I've learned as we get older, our memories tend to kind of like fade away sometimes, and it's understandable, man. Like, shit happens, more sometimes, you're right. This storm is going to be nuts, man. You said you're getting about 8 to 10 inches, somewhere around there. We're expected 18 to 24. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And that's something that you got to prepare for. And the last thing that's on your mind is, playing video games, watching a movie, doing a podcast. All that. Your number one focus is to make sure you have everything and anything you need to survive a storm that might keep you in a house for a couple days, possibly, depending on how bad it is. The news was covering today that Philadelphia, which is an hour away from me, is going to get hit with a bunch of ice, and just they may have power outages and stuff like that. People are preparing for it. So it's understandable, man. It's no worries. We're here. We're here to talk some football, and that's all there is to it. So hopefully the storm doesn't treat us too badly. Hopefully, it's just like do its thing, be on its way. We can clean up and move on. That's the rough part about living in the part of the country that we do. Yeah. It's windy as crazy right now. You probably hear it coming through a microphone, but we are here. Friday edition of the Huddle Up Podcast. We did move to Friday, number one, because my personal schedule is a little wonky right now. And I won't be available on Sunday to do the show. So we have decided to do the show tonight to get you guys ready for the conference championship games on Sunday. So, yeah, that's why we're here on Friday opposed to Sunday. Just like me and John will be on Wednesday opposed to Tuesday because of my schedule and how wonky it is right now. I will not be available Tuesday. So the schedule is a little fluctuated right now, and that's why I ask everybody to head over to the Huddle Hub Podcast over on social media, on X and TikTok at the Huddle Hub Pod. You're going to hit that follow button. On YouTube, you're going to hit the subscribe button. And obviously on Twitch, you're going to hit the follow button as well. All the links to every social media is in the Twitch bio. You're just going to click on the one that you desire, and you can go follow the Huddle Hub Podcast and help us build through the rest of the NFL playoffs and beyond. And the reason why I mentioned about going to follow X, I'm looking for that word particularly, is because show announcements happen on X. So if there's a change in show time, show date, you'll get it there on X. So that's why you want to go follow. But Cam, not a big show tonight. We got the conference title games to talk about on Sunday. But before that, we got a little bit of news to talk about. Just a little bit, not too much. Eric Bieniemy, he's returning to the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to be the new offensive coordinator out there in Kansas City. As we know, the last time Eric Bieniemy was with Kansas City, they were on a tear, winning Super Bowls, division championships, conference championships, the whole 9 yards. Well, he's making his return to Kansas City. So I think Kansas City at this point is getting ready to try and go on another run because they've had a lot of success with Eric Bieniemy. And this seems like it's going to be a round 2. And Travis Kelce, he made a little comment on the podcast he's on with Jason, saying that he's excited to see Eric Bieniemy coming back into the building. And some people are taking that as a sign of, is Travis Kelce not retiring now? Because he said, we're excited. So your thoughts on this, Cam? I mean, the Chiefs, are they a one and done as far as not being in the playoffs? Are they going to get back on track, do you think? Or do you think this is this round 2 may not be as successful as round 1?
I kind of go with the latter. I don't think this run is going to be as successful as the first one. Um, right now, I think they're kind of experiencing I would think like a Golden State Warriors kind of thing, where it's like they were a pretty big dynasty early on, in just that young team's history, I guess, and now it's like they're trying to recapture that with bringing in new players and things like that, and trying to get back to what they once were. I see that with the Kansas City Chiefs. I said it before. I don't really see them doing much next season. Like I said, and again, I think they should take their time. They have somebody who, again, arguably is one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, in Patrick Mahomes. And why rush his recovery? Why try to force him getting back into the shape, into the Patrick Mahomes that we know of, and just for what? To possibly make the playoffs, make the Super Bowl again. I get it, but I think his health is more important. So I don't really see them doing much next season. Next season, I think for them, it's just going to be survival mode to do obviously better than they did this season, but it's not going to be another Super Bowl run, playoff run. I just don't see it. So I think it'll be maybe another year before they get back to form. So
you're thinking maybe like 2027,
yeah,
they might get back to it. I mean, we're in the day and age to where offensive and defensive coordinators specifically are not lasting long on teams. I mean, for example, Kevin Patullo out in Philly, 1 year, done.
Yeah.
A couple offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators with a team, one and done. The teams, organizations are not giving coaches enough time, I don't think, to really get into the form of what they can bring to an organization and a team. It's that win now mentality. If you can't give us success today, you're going to be gone tomorrow. And do I see that being the case for Eric Bieniemy? Probably not, because of his history with Kansas City, with this offense, and just the success they had in the past. If they do not have a successful year in 2026, will he be back in 2027? I think so. I think so. I think they'll let that build up. But I think it will come down to whether Andy stays or not. Now, Andy Reid, we know we've been waiting on a decision from Kansas City on what they're going to do with Andy Reid. It seems like he's staying. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. It seems like he's going to be around for another year. Same with Travis Kelce. All that talk about, in their last home game, him walking off of the field at Arrowhead, is this the last time we see Travis Kelce walking off the field? I think he made it very clear on the New Heights podcast with Jason that with his comment that he's coming back for another year to Kansas City. And I think my theory of him testing free agency comes to an end, because Eric Bieniemy, to him, is very important. And he made that very known on that podcast. So we'll have to see what shapes up in Kansas City with Eric Bieniemy returning. Mike McDaniel, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, he is the new head coach for the new offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Mike McDaniel, he did interview for the Browns, the Titans, and I believe the Falcons for their head coaching positions. Did not get those jobs. We know Kevin Stefanski got hired by the Falcons. The Dolphins also went and hired a new head coach as well, and Jeff Hafley. Obviously, Mike McDaniel not going back to the Dolphins after getting fired. But Mike McDaniel, he's known for his offensive knowledge, and now he's going to a team that has some offensive weapons that can be successful. We've seen the Chargers. They were one and done in the playoffs this year, like they were the year before, and I believe the year before that. It's been a rough go for Los Angeles these past couple of years, getting into the playoffs, being eliminated after one round. Do you think Mike McDaniel going in there is going to be a difference maker as a coach to help this team get over that wild card hump and get further into the playoffs?
I mean, possibly. I definitely have heard a lot about Mike McDaniel and his offensive schemes and how great that they are. So I definitely think the number one thing that they did was they capitalized. They capitalized on picking up McDaniel, and I think that's key. They definitely made a splash there. So they're bringing in somebody that I think they know that can make a difference. It's just whether or not he does. I think they have a lot of great pieces here. A big thing is them staying healthy. They were hit with a lot of major injuries this past season as well. So if they can stay healthy, and McDaniel can come in there and just really mix things up with this offensive schemes in general, possibly. It's really hard to tell. I mean, this is a tough sport, and just getting into the playoffs in general is just hard. You can't sit here in January of 2026 and say a team's gonna make the playoffs. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it may look like they're going to, and then it doesn't pan out that way. So, but I would say that it's a make or break thing for them. So I think they're on the right path bringing in Mike McDaniel, but it's just all about what they can really produce bringing him in.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that Chargers offense and the weapons that they have, I mean, most of their guys, like you said, were on the injured list this year. I mean, their whole running back room was basically on the injured list this year. I'm just trying to look real quick, if my computer would let me. Just trying to look and see what important offensive players that are hitting the market this year in free agency. Najee Harris is going to hit the market this year. Zion Johnson, he's a guard, 26 years old. He's young. I could see them going after him. Trevor Penning, another guard. Keenan Allen's going to hit. But Keenan Allen, he's been in the league 12 years, 33 years old. Tyler Conklin, the tight end, 30-year-old. He's going to be on the market for this year. And a couple backups like Trey Lance, Hassan Haskins, Jarrett Peterson, Kamami Vidal. They got a couple players that are going to hit the market that are going to be worth picking up as depth. And there's a lot of teams out there that need that depth. The San Francisco 49ers, I don't think are one of those. San Francisco proved this year that they had the depth because they got into the divisional round of the playoffs. Yeah, they got stomped against the Seahawks, but they got past the defending champions. So the 49ers, they're built to succeed. They just got to stay healthy with their starters. But they showed that their backups can do it. There's teams out there that need backups that can go out and do the job because starters are getting hurt. And we've seen the injured list this year. The injured list was not pretty. At all. So, but as far as Mike McDaniel, I think he's going to be in the range of an Eric Bieniemy. So this year in 2026, if they don't have that success of getting over that wild card hump, I think Mike McDaniel is going to have a second year to have that opportunity. I don't see Mike McDaniel being a one and done guy in Los Angeles. I don't. So, Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings, he signed a 3-year extension to stick around in Minnesota. This coming after him having a couple of interviews for head coaching positions out in Atlanta, Tennessee, New York, Cleveland, Las Vegas. He had a couple interviews, but instead he decided to sign an extension to stick around in Minnesota to be the defensive coordinator. Now, Cam, we've seen this before. As of recent, Ben Johnson, he had a couple interviews after the 2024 season and decided, you know what, or after the 2023 season going into 2024, had a couple interviews for head coaching jobs. He said, you know what, I'm going to stick around in Detroit for a little bit, build my resume. And then after the 2024 season, ended up becoming the head coach out in Chicago. And he's a coach of the year candidate this year. By far, one of the top coaches for that candidacy this year. Smart move on Brian Flores, do you think? I mean, that Minnesota defense has been in the top 10 for the past couple years since he came in. Do you think this was a smart move by Brian Flores? Or do you think he should have continued looking for that head coaching position?
I mean, it depends on what was really coming his way. I know he was making some noise with Pittsburgh as well. You know, it really just depends. I suppose. You know, I thought he really had an opportunity out in Miami before Miami got rid of him after that one season. But no, like I said, if he has a better opportunity, I think he's making more of a name for himself as a defensive coordinator. Like I said, just keeping the Vikings in there and it being a top 10 defense besides last year for so long. So, no, like I said, I definitely think he has built up a resume to where I think he made the right decision. And any team I think is going to want to pick him up or wants to pick him up. So, you know, I think it was the right move, honestly, by him. Like I said, just build that resume. And I think eventually he will get more looks for a head coaching position eventually in the future. So,
yeah, I mean, you look at 10 teams this year had head coaching positions open. The Raiders, this was their third year in a row with a head coaching positioning opening up. You know, that somewhere along the lines, if you're up for a head coaching position, you got to look at these teams and be like, is it really worth my employment going to this team and not knowing whether I'm going to be there next year or not? Because if this team isn't successful, I can put the key in the ignition and turn the key and get that truck running. but it's all about the guys who are the motor and the gas and the exhaust system and everything that has to keep it going. And if any of those shut down, then I'm probably screwed. Where Brian Flores thinking, I mean, his best opportunity for longevity as far as a head coach would have probably been Pittsburgh. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
Or Baltimore. But no, Tennessee, no. Las Vegas, no. Cleveland, no. Giants, no. Because I don't even think John Harbaugh is going to go into New York and turn that team around in a year. I don't. I give that 2 years at least before they start contending again, because they got a lot of work to do out in New York. Now, do I think they can have a good draft like they did last year? Can they repeat what they did last year in the draft this year? I think they can. The Giants arguably had one of the best drafts last year. Sad part is they didn't get to put that full capacity onto the field because Scatterbo got hurt. Jackson Dart was on concussion protocol for a couple of weeks. You know, things just were not going right for New York, and they ended up the same way they did last year. John Harbaugh going in, do I see him getting 7, 8 wins? I do. I could see them making that progression, but I do not see a playoff team next year. Now in 2027, maybe, but not in 2026. I don't. Brian Flores going back to Minnesota, build that resume and see what jobs open up, because we know jobs are going to open up next year. We know that. One person that I fear the most for is Robert Saleh out in Tennessee, because if he doesn't do anything with that team, he'll be gone. And then what does he do? Go back to San Francisco for a third time? And if you go back to a team for a third time, even a second time, that's got to tell you something. It's got to tell you something. Maybe head coaching is just not in your playing cards right now or ever. So, Phillip Rivers, former quarterback in the NFL for the Chargers, the Colts, he interviewed for the Buffalo Bills head coaching job today. Now, this is a story that's still developing right now. We don't have anything as far as what was talked about in that interview, whether he got an offer or not. Nothing from this story came out other than he interviewed today. Now, Phillip Rivers, he has no coaching experience in college. He has no coaching experience in the NFL. The only coaching experience he has is in high school. That is it. Now, I think this was just a smokescreen move by Buffalo. My opinion, I think Buffalo hires Brian Daboll. I do. There's ties there. Brian Daboll was the coordinator for Josh Allen 4 years ago. He helped Josh Allen progress a little bit. My opinion on that, too, is that was 4 or 5 years ago. Things have changed. And sometimes trying to bring things back from the past doesn't always work. But could Brian Daboll in Buffalo work? Maybe. But Cam, your thoughts on Phillip Rivers interviewing for the Bills head coaching position? This was wild to hear today.
I'm not even really sure what to think of that. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think he knows enough about the game, obviously. I mean, he's played long enough, right? So, I just don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm not really too sure what his I don't know, just his overall. I don't even know what to. I just don't know what to think. This is so difficult to think. Like, it's interesting just because I mean he recently came back. Maybe he thinks that this is just better suited for him. You know, in the course of his career, his playing career is probably behind him, obviously. So maybe this is better suited for him. So happy that he has a job. I mean, he found a job for sure. But just for him to coach out in Buffalo, it just seems kind of odd to me. And it feels more just kind of experimental, you know, versus going with somebody who they know is already and has been coaching for many years over Phillip Rivers. So that's very interesting. Has he gotten the position yet, or is he's just interviewing?
He just interviewed.
He's just interviewing. So
yeah.
it would be it would definitely be a head scratcher if they do end up hiring Phillip Rivers for the job over some of these other coaches that are, you know, still looking for jobs. So I don't know. Very interesting choice. I get it though. It's really a smart move, just, you know, for him, just to, you know, get a job. He's got a lot of kids, so I mean, obviously he's looking for something. So I can completely understand it. He needs something substantial. So yeah.
I mean, I believe the high school team that he coaches is his son, I believe, is the quarterback. I believe.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have to see what the Bills do. Again, I think they go after Brian. I think Brian Dable gets the job. I honestly do. The NFL, they implemented a rule to where they have to give opportunities for guys that, enter the coaching pool. So Philip Rivers, for example, he entered the coaching pool. So now teams have to pick, I believe, there's like certain criteria, and I want to pull up the rules because I want to get this right. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, so I want to get this right. So it's called the Rooney Rule. And every NFL team is required to they're requiring in-person interviews with at least 2 external minority female candidates for head coaching / GM roles, plus coordinators and QB coach roles. So if he applied as a coach in the NFL, then he's in the coaching pool. So now if he were to apply for that Bills position, they have to give him the interview. So even if they said, you know what, we want to hire Brian Dable, he's the guy we want to bring him in, we still got to finish our interviews with the people that have requested said interviews. So, for example, it just came out that the Steelers just completed their interview with Anthony Weaver about an hour ago. Anthony Weaver is the defensive coordinator out in Miami. Okay. Now, Anthony Weaver, if he was their top candidate that they want to bring in, the Steelers still have to interview all the coaches that said, hey, I want to take a crack at the Steelers job. They still got to interview them before they say, hey, we're hiring this guy. So, yeah, the Giants, they jumped. Yeah, the Titans, they jumped. Yeah, the Falcons, they jumped. But they completed their interview process before they said, hey, this is the guy. So, again, we'll have to see if Philip Rivers actually becomes the guy. I mean, here's more on the Rooney Rule. So head coaches and GMs must interview at least 2 external minority or female candidates in person. For coordinator roles, they must interview at least 2 external minority or female candidates. Same thing for QB coach and senior executives. And then for the virtual, there's virtual versus in-person. Virtual interviews do not count towards the Rooney Rule. In-person interviews are required. So they must do them in person. Early interviews, teams can begin interviewing with external candidates, not from other teams, as soon as they have an opening. So, for example, the Giants, John Harbaugh gets fired. He's available. Giants can interview him literally the afternoon he got fired. He's external. He's done. But if he's with another team, for example, the Patriots, if one of the Patriots offensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator for the Patriots, they can't get interviewed until their season's done, until they're done playing. Okay. Playoff coaches, interviews with coaches still in the playoffs are restricted. Here we go. So I was talking about virtual interviews are generally permitted earlier. In-person interviews for playoff assistants are limited to 3 hours and must occur at their current team's approved locations. No contact with Super Bowl team personnel until after the Super Bowl ends. So, for example, Jonathan Gannon, when he was a coordinator out in Philadelphia, he got the job out in Arizona, but his interview didn't happen until after the Eagles lost to the Chiefs the first time around. But they were saying on TV, like, oh, he's going to go out and be the head coach out in Arizona. It's like they almost already knew that was going to happen. And then no contracts can be signed or agreed upon until the candidate's current season is completely over. So yeah, there we go. That's the full rules on the Rooney Rule. So it's a very complicating thing, but at the same time, it's understandable on how they do things and how they have to do the process, because you got to give everybody a fair shot that wants to go after the job. You do. You do. So, last bit of news, Mac Hollins, wide receiver of the Patriots, he is questionable for their game on Sunday against the Broncos. Mac Hollins, he suffered an injury about a month ago. It was like week 16, week 17, got injured. He was put on IR at first, and the minimum for IR is 4 weeks. So if he got injured in week 17, week 18, wild card, divisional, he is available to come back for the conference championship. So Mac Hollins, he is questionable for Sunday. So there's a chance he may play. There's no determination on that yet. So that's all we got for the news, man. There was not much. I'm trying to scroll through to see if anything breaking has happened. Just a bunch of, teams that are hiring coordinators and stuff, doing interviews, a couple things here and there. The Ravens, they requested an interview with Chiefs defensive line coach Joe Cullen for their defensive coordinator job. So that's the last bit of thing that came out. That's it. So Cam, Conference Championship weekend is upon us. Sunday. AFC Championship game will kick off at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. New England Patriots head out to Denver to take on the Broncos, and then the NFC Championship game kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out in Seattle when the Rams take on the Seahawks. So, Cam, let's get into talking about these games. Starting off with the AFC Championship game, we got the New England Patriots heading out to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Broncos do not have Bo Nix. Stidham is going to be starting. Cam, what do you got on the Patriots and the Broncos?
So first things first, I think you know me well enough by now to know that I really try to shy away from. I mean, if it's something I agree with it, other people are saying, I try to word it, I guess, in my own words, but for the most part, I really don't like, just regurgitating, what someone has already said a million times already. So with Jarrett Stidham, I guess, starting, it makes for a very tough situation for the Broncos. Everyone is saying that the Broncos have no chance of winning this game. I would like to agree with that. I mean, you're having the guy start that he's not the one that got you here. Bo Nix has been the one that has been really the one creating all the magic, the one that's got you here thus far. So it's a really tough decision, or a tough position to be put in for Jarrett Stidham. Now, even in saying that, the guy could still come out here and just shock us all. I'm almost kind of hoping for that, just to create for just a memorable game and a memorable performance by Jarrett Stidham. But I mean, with this defense that they're up against, and with this offense that the defense has to deal with the Patriots, and like I said, a healthy Drake May, I just don't see it happening. I just don't. They're on fire right now. Maybe their toughest test here. A lot of people are scrutinizing the Patriots for having the lack of competition, I guess, with their set schedule they've had over the course of the season, which I mean is that's debatable too, I guess. But I definitely think they come in here and they perform. I think they know the task at hand. They know what is at stake, a trip to the Super Bowl. So, hey, I'm going with the Patriots here. I don't think they have anything to worry about with this game, honestly. This is going to be a very good physical game, I think, for them. Again, still a true test for them to see if they are legit or not. But like I said, with no Bo Nix, it's a no-go, I think, for the Denver Broncos. So.
Yeah, I'm on that bandwagon of I do not think the Broncos stand a chance in this game. They have a very good defense. Do they have an opportunity to shut down the Patriots offense for a little bit in this game? Yes, but as we know, you're playing 4 quarters of football, 60 minutes. You get that 15-minute halftime to where your adrenaline tends to kind of calm down a little bit. And if you've played sports in your life or have just even gone out, as a kid, you're running around, playing, all that stuff, your adrenaline gets up. And then once your adrenaline starts coming down after playing for 60, 90 minutes, you get a little tired. As you get older, that kicks in a little quicker, that tiredness. And these are grown men playing football, which means they do get tired. And that Broncos defense, that defense, they got to keep that adrenaline up. That's going to be a key thing. Keep your adrenaline going. When you get in the locker room, just walk around. Don't sit down. Don't relax, because you know that you're going to need to rely on yourselves to keep yourselves in this ball game. Turnovers are going to be key too for them. Jarrett Stidham, I went over the stats on Tuesday night. You know, his stats in 4 or 5 years aren't the best. There's quarterbacks that go out and throw for 1,500 yards in 5 games, 3 games, 4 games. He's thrown for 1,400 some odd yards in five seasons. Yeah, he hasn't had the opportunity because he's not a natural starter. But the people that are saying that, underestimating Jarrett Stidham, Nick Foles did it. Yeah, but Nick Foles was a starter in many different occasions for Philadelphia, for Kansas City, for the Rams, for the who else did he start for? The Jaguars was after his second stint in Philadelphia after winning the Super Bowl. I'm talking about before the Super Bowl win in 2018. So Jarrett Stidham is not Nick Foles. He's not. Now, could he go out and win this ball game? He could, but he's got to be on point. He's got to be perfect, because this Patriots defense is no pushover either. And they are going to be on him, and excuse my language, they are going to be on him like flies on shit. Just saying. They will. They know that that's not Bo Nix. They know that that's Jarrett Stidham, and they are going to find every opportunity to get that ball turned over and put the ball in their hands and put the ball in the hands of Drake May. So that's why I do not feel like Denver. This is a sad situation. And now there's some conspiracy theories going out there that Bo Nix didn't even get hurt on the field. He didn't get hurt on that last tackle. He didn't get hurt while he was kneeling the ball. Some people are thinking, the Broncos won. He went into the locker room and celebrated, and he hurt himself while celebrating in the locker room. Like, come on now. Again, we get to the point where if these guys make one wrong step on the field, they can get hurt. It can happen, no matter how it happens. A couple of years ago in the Super Bowl, I believe it was Fred Warner for the 49ers. He was just running on the field to get ready to play defense, and he tore his ACL. It happens. So this whole conspiracy theory with the locker room, I have big doubts on that. Big doubts on that. But I have big doubts on Denver winning this game. I will be shocked if Denver wins this game. So, let's see what happens. AFC title game kicks off 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday. See who wins it. See who's going to Super Bowl 60. So, in the NFC Championship game, we got the Los Angeles Rams heading out to take on their NFC West rival Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks looking real dominant in these playoffs, taking care of the 49ers to punch their ticket to the NFC title game. The Rams have been battling since Wild Card Weekend, and they are now back in the NFC title game for the first time in, I believe, 2 years. The Rams, Seahawks, round 3. Cam, what do you got?
Well, like I said, Sam Darnold definitely has come a long way, hasn't he? Again, a lot of people were writing him off, earlier in his career. A stint with the Jets, stint with the Panthers. So a lot of people didn't see him making it this far. I think we talked about this earlier as well, just with his shortcomings with the Vikings last year and him not making it this far. So I think he has definitely proved a lot of doubters wrong in making it this far. Even if this is the last game that he plays and the Seahawks are eliminated after this NFC Championship game, he still made it this far, and that's definitely impressive. I didn't see the Seahawks making it this far for sure. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. This is becoming a bit of a rivalry, I think, in the NFC, if it wasn't already. You got 2 fantastic offenses right now, and you got one hell of a defense with the Seahawks. I think the Rams definitely have their hands full. I think with that defense, they're going to find and figure out a way to try and shut down Puka Nacua. I think that's their number one task, because we all know that's his favorite target. That's Matthew Stafford's favorite target. And if you can shut him down, I think they have a chance to win this game. They're not going to be able to do what they did to the Niners. I don't believe that. You beat up on a very heavily injured 49ers offense. Yeah, this is not that. I think you have the opportunity to shut down Devontae Adams, who really hasn't looked like him himself in the last few games. I would say he makes a few good key plays, but he's not somebody that's Puka Nacua, who's just fantastic anywhere on the field. So yeah, but I definitely think this Rams offense definitely has their hands full, I would say. And then even with Sam Darnold didn't really have to do much against the Niners, really, because it was just all defense, I believe. He definitely kind of struggled a little bit against that Niners defense. So the Rams just have to create these opportunities to be able to get the ball out of his hands and create turnovers, like we said with the other game, with the AFC Championship game. Create those turnovers and make him as uncomfortable as humanly possible. And maybe they have a chance as well. So this game can really go either way. I'm expecting this to be probably a very high scoring game with just two electric offenses right now. I got to go with the Seahawks, though. I really think the Seahawks have a better opportunity here. And like I said, they definitely impressed me in that game against the Niners. Even being against an injured Niners team, that defense is just that looks like a championship defense right there. So I got to go with the Seahawks on this one.
This is a very tough game to sit here and pick from, because you're not wrong. Both offenses very, very electric. Very, they're both high-profile offenses. I mean, you got Darnold to Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford. I think this is going to come down to the running game. I do, because both defenses are going to be anticipating the ball going into the air. When you go and look at the running game, you look at the Seahawks running game, and they got Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. But Zach Charbonnet, he's injured. He's done. He's out. So now they're cut down to Kenneth Walker. Then you go on the other side of the ball, you look at the Rams. They got Kyron Williams. They got Blake Corum. Two guys that can run the football very, very well. I think this comes down to the run game, to the point where I think the Rams could go out and win this game. I think the Rams will go out and shock a lot of people that have their money on Seattle. So I'm going with the Rams in this game. I'm going Patriots-Rams, Super Bowl 60. I mean, it's been a couple years since we've seen the Rams and Patriots in a Super Bowl. Last time the Rams and Patriots were in a Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford wasn't even a Ram. It was Jared Goff was the quarterback for the Rams, and Tom Brady was the quarterback for the Patriots. So Seattle, I feel like this is where the road ends for them. And as far as Sam Darnold, I just looked it up. His contract, he has a 3-year contract in Seattle. I thought he was there for only a year. He's there for 3 years. He's got a 3-year contract. So he's going to be in Seattle for a while. Could there be a repeat next year for Seattle? Yet to be known. Got to see the moves that they make in the offseason. Got to see how they do in the draft. Could they repeat what they did this year next year? Maybe. Who knows? That's yet to be known. But the Rams, they're in the right now. They want to get back to where they think they should have been last year. And this goes all the way back to that divisional round matchup against Philly last year. Should they have won that game? Probably, but they didn't. Like I said, they're a team that's on a road to redemption because they feel like they should have been in the position Philly was in last year. And now they're one step away from that. One step away. And they just got to get past Seattle. So let's see what happens with Seattle and Los Angeles. NFC title game kicks off 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday or whenever the AFC title game ends, because as we know in the playoffs, the networks are pretty respectful to each other when it comes to games. We noticed it last week with the overtime game that ran a little late. The 49ers Seahawks waited to kick off until the AFC game was done. So very respectful. So whenever the AFC game is done, NFC will kick off. So we just got a winter storm warning. Ooh, wow. Okay. I just got like this massive notification that just popped up on my computer. Like, wow. Okay. Well, Cam, that's all we got, man. That's it. Like I said, this is a very short show today. Not long. Got one more update. Pick challenge. Me and John's pick challenge. I got that real quick. The update. John officially won the NFL pick challenge. So this is the 8th year in a row that he has beaten me. I failed miserably in the playoffs. Had a terrible. Normally in the playoffs, I do great when it comes to picking. The regular season is where I kind of trip over myself. And then the playoffs, I tend to do pretty good. This year it flip-flopped. Did great in the regular season. Did pretty crappy in the playoffs, because I went into the playoffs with, I believe, 174 wins. I believe I only have 2 wins this year in the playoffs. That's sad. That's terrible. So John has officially beat me. 3 games left. He's up by 5. It's just pretty much let's see how I finish as far as records now. So see if I can finish with 179 wins or not. Got to win the last 3. But before we get out of here, before we give you guys our socials, head over to the Huddle Up Podcast, X, TikTok, at the Huddle Up Pod. You're going to follow. On YouTube, you're going to subscribe. That's how you follow. And on Twitch, of course, you're going to hit the follow button. All the links to all of our socials are in the bio of the Twitch channel. You're going to go to the social media that you desire to go to. Hopefully it is all of them, but it's understanding not everybody uses every social media. Help us build the Huddle Up Podcast going through the rest of the NFL playoffs and beyond. Cam, your socials are going to be up at the bottom in about 2 seconds as soon as I get your social medias up here. Where did it go? Give me a second. I have your social medias here. So I have so much stuff on this thing that I literally I cleared out some tickers here, and I cleared out me, you, and John's. All of our social medias are gone. So I have to put yours back up. Give me a second. I will get it. I was half prepared today. I promise. And now we are good. I got it now. We're good. Cam, your socials are on the bottom, man. What do you got going on social media? What do you want to let the people know?
Well, definitely keep with me on my TikTok on Cam's Wrestling Corner. That's where I'm the most active. In terms of personal content, I post my wrestling opinion and wrestling news and things like that. So keep with me on there. In terms of the networks, right here every single Friday now, I guess, with me and Metalcore Mike talking about some football. And then, of course, on River City Radio on that network, every single Monday night with me and Metalcore Mike after Monday Night Raw and then Table Spot. And then, of course, me and Metalcore Mike are then joined by none other than Phil Khan every single Wednesday night on The Boom after AEW Dynamite, talking about some AEW Dynamite. Love and appreciate all you guys come by and checking out the stream tonight.
All right, make sure you're going to check out Cam, especially over on Cam's Wrestling Corner. Great videos over there. Go check it out. If you want a fair and great opinion on pro wrestling, you want to go check those videos out. I'm not just saying it because this man is digitally sitting next to me. I mean that. You won't be disappointed. As far as the Friday show, like this is a pop-up Friday show because we're not available on Sunday. Once my schedule starts, we'll be back to Sundays. We will be. You just got to give it a couple, schedule's a little wonky. So Friday thing ain't permanent. It's not. Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Metal Mike 714. That's where you can find me. I don't do anything on social media. I don't. I do game streams and stuff like that. I do stream here on the Huddle Up Podcast. I do my video game streaming. I'm doing my superstar mode right now at Madden. Was going to do a stream today. Decided not to because I was just chilling out today. But I plan on getting back into that hopefully sometime next week. Hopefully. Maybe this weekend, pending on this storm. If I'm home this weekend because of the storm, I will probably do a stream or 2 on that, but you can check that out. Other than that, don't do much on social media. If you want to reach out to me, you can. If not, it's cool. Appreciate everybody who stopped out. Me and John will be back on Wednesday. Again, head over to X for show announcements because we do not have a dead set time yet. It will be happening Wednesday afternoon at some time. As soon as I have the time, the announcement will be made on X. But me and John will be Wednesday instead of Tuesday because, again, my schedule is a little weird right now. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. Be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. If your team is playing in the conference title games this weekend, good luck. If not, just enjoy some football. See you guys Wednesday. Deuces.